Hello friends, it's Liz from West Star Tarot, and I am rather belatedly doing my January favorites. It is February 20th, so there's only a week left in February, but January was kind of a monumental month for me. I really made a great progress in my tarot practice, and I'm kind of excited. So I wanted to, even though it's late, I wanted to talk about January and my favorites. So last year, my tarot practice was not what I had hoped it would be. It was a little disappointing, and there were a number of reasons. So I am not like knocking myself for this. There was a lot of reasons and a lot of stuff that happened. And when I looked back at the end of December on, my decks and tarot practice for 2022, I felt a little disappointed. So I thought, well, you know what? Clean slate in January. It is an arbitrary clean slate, but it is still a clean slate. So anyway, what I did was last year, this year I was determined to get off to a good start in January. And like I said, a clean slate. So last year, I made a list of 12 decks that I wanted to explore, deep dive, or get to know better in 2022. And unfortunately, I only got to like 4 or 5 of them, so not even half. And so I felt kind of bad about that. But again, I had kind of some extenuating circumstances last year, so I'm going to cut myself a little slack. So this year I revamped the list. I looked at them. There were some that I thought, you know what, I guess I didn't get to this because I really don't want to explore it. So I revamped the list. And I made a plan to be more spontaneous about how I go about using my decks and exploring my decks. Instead of having sort of a more structured or rigid plan in place, I just decided I'm going to be spontaneous. This is the deck I feel like working with today. I'm going to work with it today. I don't care if the plan was some other deck. So in fact, I'm not even going to make plans like that. It just doesn't work for me. That's what I learned. So, the good news about 2022 is I had some awakenings about myself and what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And I thought, I've got to do what works for me. Duh. So anyway, I made a plan, as I said, to be more spontaneous about my daily deck draws. And I found that I do much better when I do it that way. And I think part of it is because I'm an Aries sun. And I don't know if you know what they say about Aries, but Aries are jack of all trade, master of none kind of folks. Great starters, bad finishers. But the thing about Aries is we are spontaneous and we are curious. So we always are wanting to learn more and more, and one thing leads to the other. Like I said, great starters, bad finishers. But anyway, I thought I gotta work with who I am. I gotta work with what my personality is. And so that was the plan. And in January, I actually got to 21 decks. Yeah. So let me tell you, I'm not going to pull them all out and show them to you. Most of them are, older decks that I'm sure everybody's familiar with. But here's my 21 decks. Soul Seeds Oracle, Gentle Tarot, Tulku Oracle, Song of Grandmother's Oracle, Lantern Oracle, Fifth Spirit Tarot, Morning Calm Oracle, Wee Moon Tarot, Between the Worlds Oracle, Wise Woman Tarot, Oracle of the She, Tarot of the Four Elements, Wild and Sacred Feminine Oracle, Lucky Lenormand, Under the Roses, Lenormand, World Spirit Tarot, Connected and Free Oracle, Aquarian Tarot, Sasaburito Tarot, Compendium of Witches, and Avalonian Oracle. So I got to use all of those decks, and this is how it came about. So I decided I was just going to do a daily draw, and I would get up in the morning and I would say to myself, you know, today I really feel like the Tarot of the Four Elements is speaking to me. So I'm going to pull a card from that deck. So that's what I did, and I put it on my altar, and I journaled, and I thought about it, and so forth and so on. This deck is actually contributing to my PIP deck study, or Tarot de Marseille study. That was, for example, one deck. So then the next day, same thing. Well, today I feel like this deck. And I was kind of putting them out on my altar, the cards. And all of a sudden I realized I was leaving them out, one card a day, but I was leaving them out on my altar. And I realized, you know what? I'm going to read these cards one card a day. And then at the end of 5 days, 5 just was kind of a random number that seemed to work. At the end of 5 days, I'm going to read those cards as one spread. So every day I read them individually, and then at the end of the 5 days, I read them as one spread together. Then I would clear the deck and put those away and start from scratch again. And I noticed that I tended to do like Oracle Tarot, Oracle Tarot, Oracle Tarot, or Tarot, Oracle Tarot. So I alternated. But, it was spontaneous. Whatever came to me as what I wanted to pull is what I pulled. And I really had a lot of fun. It was so enjoyable. And isn't that what it's supposed to be? We aren't supposed to flagellate ourselves with our tarot practice. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It does take some work and commitment. I agree. But if it's not fun, what's the point of it? If it's not speaking to my heart and soul, what's the point of it? Yes, I want to learn Tarot de Marseille this year and Lenormand, but I also want to evolve and grow and enjoy my practice. So anyway, that's what happened in January, and as I said, it was a lot of fun. And I got to 21 decks, and multiple of those decks were used multiple times. Some I only pulled from once or twice. Others I pulled from multiple times. So that was my card practice, and it was, as I said, a lot of fun. For this year, 2023, I have, I mentioned in my end of the year or December favorites from 2022 that my sister gifts me, the Wee Moon journal, Gaia Rhythms for Women, every year. And so this year was no exception. It's stunning. It's just all this beautiful women's art, poetry, visual arts. It's got the moon signs and, astrological happenings. And so what I decided to do this year was I have a planner that I write, and this really doesn't give you a lot of space. I have a planner that I put all my stuff in. But for this one, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one of those gratitude things, or, write down every day something I'm grateful for, or something fun or enjoyable, or something that touched my heart or soul that day. So that's what I've been doing. I have missed a few days here and there, but mainly every day I'm writing down things that made me happy, or things I'm grateful for. So let's see. Let me just look. So for the week of January 23rd, I made good progress in physical therapy. Yay me. I met with my friend to work on our book group. We're reading Braiding Sweetgrass. then I realized how grateful I am to live where I live. I had a Zoom call with my women's group. My sisters-in-law came up to visit that week and spent the weekend, and I just talked about how that went. So last year I had a really difficult year. But you know what? It wasn't all bad. And so I guess why I'm doing this is because I want to look back on the year and think, I don't want to think, what a shit year this was. I want to look back and think, look at all the joy and pleasure. Look at all the things I have to be grateful for. So, I can feel, positive and happy about my life instead of, just concentrating on the negative. So another planner, this planner was gifted to me by my daughter. It's the 2023 Astro Planner from Chani. And, my daughter usually gives me this great planner. Oh, here it is. That really kind of runs my life. I just don't know what I'd do without it. And she didn't give it to me this year. Instead, she went Astro. And I was like, okay. So I bought that one myself. I got to stay organized. And this is really cool. So I am writing in it. It has all kinds of astrological events, specifically full moon, new moon. And so it will say, now this is for the full moon, it will say, so this is a full moon in Leo in February. Leo occupies and for me it's my 12th house. The areas of life that this house represents are, and you fill that out. And then you just write about, what's being illuminated or magnified or optimized in that house for this full moon. And then the new moon is, of course, intention setting, but, similar. You look at the house the planet is in, that the moon is in, and then you write about that. So it's kind of fun, and it's a way to, as you go through the year, explore your natal chart, where your houses are, where the planets are, and how everything all interacts. So it's sort of like a day by day, week by week, month by month way of expanding my knowledge about astrology and becoming more familiar in particular with my chart. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying that. Also in January, my tarot friend, Ben, also known as Tom Benjamin, ran a 4-week Lenormand class. And so I signed up for it, and we met four Saturdays for 2 hours each time in January, and we explored Lenormand. And he called it fuck it, let's learn Lenormand or something. And when we were doing the class, Ben kept saying, oh my gosh, real Lenormand people would see this and be pulling their hair out because we weren't really following the Lenormand rules. But we had fun. We learned a lot about Lenormand. I got more familiar with the card meanings, and I did my first grand tableau. I always was so overwhelmed by the thought of doing a 36 card reading. I just thought, no way. And so I never even attempted it. So this is what I've learned about myself with my tarot practice from last year changed into this year, and with my not doing the grand tableau. I'm kind of an all or nothing. Either I'm going to dive right in, or if I don't think I can do it, then I'm just not going to do it at all. And that doesn't really work. That's not a good MO. So I have learned from that last year experience and my processing my phobia of grand tableau, that I need to just say, screw it, dive in, at least give it a try. And that was really, really fun. And I became aware of how different the grand tableau really is from what I thought it was. So that's something I want to continue to play with and work with as I go through 2023. Lenormand itself and the Grand Tableau in particular. So that was Lenormand. All right, I have my notes because I had a lot in January with all my decks, and I read a lot of books, and so let me talk about books. So I decided this year, because I get to the end of the year and I wonder how many books I read this year. And I know there's apps for it, but I'm old school. So I have fiction, nonfiction, and then my to be read pile books. And I'm writing down, I might as well open it up. I'm writing down books. So the title of the book, the author, and the day I started it and the day I finished it. So in January, I read 9 mystery books. I mean, they weren't really heavy hitters, but still I read 9 books. Yay me. It's better than none, right? And so that's my fiction. And my nonfiction, yeah, guys, still working on good old The Open Reading by Yov Ben-Dov. I have to say, I really like this book a lot. It's really easy to read. It's not overwhelming. It's not dry. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm just getting into the card meetings now. But I'm just loving it. What a great writer Yov Ben-Dov was. And then for the Lenormand class, I got this one, 36 Cards by Andy Vorav. And this is a very interesting book. So I'm working on that. Again, I'm reading the card meetings now. And he talks about, Grand Tableau and lots of different things. So those are 2 nonfiction books. Sorry. Juggling. That's Luna. Luna? Luna! Lulu, come on. Sorry. All right, now, decks I got in January. So I already mentioned one of them, and it's for my PIP deck, or Tarot de Marseille study. Tarot of the 4 Elements. It has a huge guidebook. It's on my other table, so I don't have it handy. But this is a PIP deck that I feel like I can relate to and I can work with, and still, it's not Marseille. I mean, it's PIP, but at least it's getting me to. So this is the 2 of Fire. So instead of looking at this and seeing the Rider-Waite-Smith 2 of Wands, which I have been doing for so long because that's just ingrained in my brain, those images, now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about, what does the suit of Wands or Fire mean? And what is my definition of 2s and putting it together? So I'm not looking at this and seeing that dude and the 2 of Wands. I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the 2 of Fire. So I feel like that's progress, and I'm happy about that. And I did use this deck in January as part of some of my 5-card spreads, and really, really have enjoyed it. The guidebook's good. And it is by, let's see, Amy Erickson is the artist, and Isha Lerner, who's done other tarot decks, is the guidebook author. So I also got 2 MJ Cullinan decks in January. It was kind of a coincidence. This is a deck that the Urban Crow, that I've been attracted to for the longest time. I did have the Crow Tarot, but I'd never used it, so I gifted it to my sister who loves crows. This is the mass market. I did buy my sister, the same sister, the Indie Crow Oracle, Urban Crow Oracle with the expansion pack. I will never have that, but it's okay. I'm really satisfied with this. So this is the Urban Crow. I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. I really do love the illustrations. The keywords are interesting. And truth be told, I got this in January and I still haven't broken it in yet. So that will be upcoming. And then the other MJ deck I got, this was Hay House, so I got this online. This one is indie, so I got this from MJ. It's the Four Hawksataro. And how I came to get this deck, the guidebook, was, so one of my decks for 2022 to explore was the Tarot of the She. And I started to do a deep dive with the Tarot of the She, and I realized I don't think this deck is for me. I just don't, it doesn't speak to me. You know, I tried a few times and I was just like, nope, not for me. But you know what? I have a She Oracle, which I'm really enjoying quite a bit. And I did explore in 2022, and I did use in January. And I thought, you know, I think that Four Hawksataro is a Fae deck, and I would really like to have a Fae deck. And so I ordered it. And I just feel like I can connect with this deck so much better than the She. I haven't really done anything with this. You can see it's in order. So again, it's on my list. But just looking, I keep going through the images and looking at the guidebook, and I'm really feeling much more of a connection with the Four Hawksa than I ever did with the She. So the She, I'm going to move along. Anyone interested in it? And I'm going to now give the Four Hawksataro a try, and we'll see how that goes. Another deck that I got in January, somehow I ended up getting 5 decks in January. Yeah, is this one, Compendium of Witches. It's an Oracle deck, and this one I have used quite a bit since I got it. Not sure about this one. The verdict's out. So as people who are familiar with the deck probably know, it's divided in half. Half are witches and half are other things. And I tried shuffling them all together and pulling that way, and I didn't really like it that way. So I now am keeping them separate and pulling one witch and one other thing. And can I just say, look at this. Rest. What a beautiful card for our winter months. This was, I got the Familiar and the Healer, the Witch Who's the Healer, when I did my first draw from this deck. So I loved the 2 cards I got when I first pulled. So the verdict's out. I'll keep working with it, but I'm not sure. This may be moving on down the road too. We'll see. And then the 5th deck that I got in January really came as a huge, huge, huge surprise. And I got it. I was watching Kay at Amidst the Gray, I think is her channel. She did like a, I don't know, 3-hour video of her entire tarot collection. It was very entertaining, and I actually watched the whole thing. And one of the decks she pulled up was this one, Marguerite Peterson Tarot. I have been seeing this deck around for years, and I always thought, Yeah, not for me. But Kay said something. She said AGM has re-released this. So it was first published in 2001. And this AGM has re-released, upside down here, has re-released, this is the 20th anniversary edition. And they went back to the look of the original edition. And I know a lot of people talk about how they like that better than what it morphed into. So it was a decent price. And I just thought, you know what? I feel like this is going to be a really good deck to have in my collection as a student of tarot. And I thought, why not get this special edition? So I have not used this deck yet. You can see it's still in order. But my God, it is glorious, is it not? The art is beautiful. I think I'm really going to enjoy using this. And I have to say that my crossover drug, what do they call it? Entry drug, whatever, was Shimmering Veil. So not that I think Shimmering Veil and Margaret by Cilla Conway and the Margaret Peterson deck look alike, but they are both much more abstract art than I am normally drawn to in a tarot deck. And a friend of mine gave me Shimmering Veil in the fall, and it was a deck that I used a bit in January and is on my deck to explore. Look at that. My God. Breathtaking, really. Look at that. So anyway, Shimmering Veil made me realize, working with Shimmering Veil made me realize, you know what? I can work with these decks. And again, I need to stop being all or nothing. I need to just say, I'm just going to start using this deck and see what happens. Because maybe it's going to end up being my favorite deck of all time. Or it's going to give me these readings that blow my mind. But if I don't at least try, if I do that all or nothing thing, it's just, no, I got to stop doing that. And I am. So anyway, Margaret Peterson, I'm going to start working with soon. I'm finishing up some decks that I have been playing with in February, but of course, in another week, we'll be at the end of February, and I'll be doing my February favorites. So one last favorite, and this has been a favorite before. This is a beautiful rose quartz palm stone that I got from Patrick at the Living Wheel at one of his live crystal sales. And you know, the last thing that I needed was another rose quartz, but this baby spoke to me and I thought, I got to get this. It was pretty inexpensive and I had no idea how huge it was going to be. Anyway, she came to me and I love her. She soothes my heart. She opens my heart. There's something about this stone, this crystal, that is really important for me. She's a real healing stone, and I need healing. I do, especially heart healing, physical and metaphysical and emotional. And I'm working with Rosie, because that's her name, Rosie. And so I've been working with her quite a bit and enjoying my process with her. So anyway, that is my January. And it was really good. I'm really happy about my tarot practice in January. I wish I'd read a little bit more of my tarot books, but you know what? I'm getting there, chipping away, enjoying it. Again, it's supposed to be enjoyable. It's not supposed to be a chore. This is my practice, my spiritual practice. This is for healing and fun and joy and growth and evolution. And it should be a wonderful, fun process. So that's where I'm at. Tell me about your January. Did you make some goals, and how'd you do? Decks you explored, books you're reading? Any tips on some Lenormand books for me, or ideas about working with the Grand Tableau? Any Tarot de Marseille thoughts? Open to all of that, folks. Anyway, thank you for watching. I guess I'd like to say from my heart, I appreciate you, my viewers. I love having conversations with you. I love when people comment. I'm an Aries. I'm outgoing. I'm blabby, chatty, talky, and I love to interact with you folks. So it makes me so happy when you all comment and stop by. And I also want to say thanks to all of you who supported me last year during my hours and days and weeks and months of need. I cannot tell you how much you all touched me. Thank you so much. Love you.